I'm sure this is going to be so windy it'll be horrible to listen to, but the hurricane is just starting, and I got my generator on because we already lost power. But basically, we have a lot of tree movement. No trees down yet. The bakery dock is almost underwater now. I tide it in about 2 hours. See the edge of my building, and the water is about, I would say, 3 feet below the building. There's still a couple of hours to go. So let's see if this 120-year-old building makes it through another storm. That's a big wave. Right at the rocks. But that's why we put them there. There's that boat out there. And I can't open this door because I'd never be able to close it again. But he's rocking around. But he's managing pretty well. I'm surprised that buoy is just an anchor holding him down there, a bit of a weight underneath it to hold it to the seafloor. But there's another one, somebody took their boat in, they weren't going to risk it. In fact, I think there's another one out there as well, so there's 2 more. Yeah, that dock is already underwater about 2 hours before high tide, so that tells me that that dock is going through a lot of trauma at the moment. Whether it survives the storm, I don't know. And Riverport, where the wind is coming from, is over there. So what's a guy going to do when he's got no electrician, there's a hurricane blowing outside, and nothing else to do? So all I'm going to do is make fish, and basically little fish. So I'm going to make a school. I got all these little tiny bits of clay. I'm going to make about 20 of these so we can have a big fish with a school of fish behind it. So we got lots of little 1-pound balls of clay, possibly 3/4 pounds, somewhere in that region, which is about 400 grams, I guess. So I got a sheet of plastic on top of the canvas, and there's another piece of canvas to go over that. That's how I normally do this. I'm placing the clay to get 3 in a row across. They're really small bits of clay, and I simply give it a help by wedging down and then pulling it to the roller. Take the canvas over the top. I do the plastic because you can lift the whole piece of plastic and all the clay comes out with it, and then you don't have to disturb your blankets. I have it rolled at 1/4 inch again, because I like doing them about 1/4 inch. They're strong, they don't break that easily anyway. When you're screwing them in the wall, if you press too hard, they will break. Now, this is what I mean. Stuck to the plastic. Make good use of my Bessie's catalogue here. They send these catalogues with sheets of paper, and I just use Uline and Bessie's catalogues for sheets of paper. And then you just simply pull it horizontally, holding the clay down on. So it's basically lined up on 3 sheets of paper. This one's hanging over the paper just a touch, so you can lift the paper, just reposition it, and put it back. I try not to lift the clay without it being on something, in case it stretches a bit, but with fish it really doesn't matter too much. So then I have a working board of 3 pieces of clay ready to go. Okay, I got all slabs rolled. There must be about 20 to 24 of them here. So I got a lot of work to do today, but where else am I going to be? The storm's howling outside. I don't think you can see the boat over there. So basically, I may as well be comfortable in here because it's not cold. It's actually quite nice. temperature wise. So I have several wheels on tables just in case, and a mop bucket waiting. And a bunch of clay slabs ready to go. So I'm gonna do some very quick, to get them fairly inexpensive little fish to make into a school so people could buy a dozen. First thing you do is you smooth them out. Dip your little scraper in some water and just give them a little smooth. The backside doesn't have to be smooth. And these are going to be very long fish, obviously, so you can see them a bit better. I need a needle to draw with. So to keep them, I'm going to have to do less appendages sticking off the side. Come down here there a bit. But I may have a little bit of clay there, so I could make a little fin here. So I'm going to actually take this down to the belly bottom, come up, we'll have another fin just there. Because that way I've got two places where I could get some clay to make some fins. Cut it out. I like to use as much of the clay as possible, so there's less recycling. And this is the bit that I'm going to save, because I could squish it down a bit thinner. Go right to the edge. Here. These are not any specific, type of fish. And this you could actually immediately just crunch it up. It's so small, you're not going to trap any air in that. And make yourself another little pancake for making a fin or whatever. So that wouldn't be a big. The winds are actually tropical storm force, they were saying, with hurricane gusts going over us at this point, so you can probably hear it howling. Oh, the door just banged open a bit there. Not open, but rattling. So here we go, we've got what we can make into a little fin down here. There's a little bit left up here. So just use your fingers to make it do what you want it to do. Don't want any really thin bits here either. I've seen various trucks going down the road because there's no power, but I don't imagine anybody's going to want to get on a power line. That's a bit big, I think, so I'm going to pull that down a little bit. Use your fingers to sculpt and mold so you've got the shape sort of similar to what you want. So we've got two things that we can use. Alright, so I actually use this tool a lot when I'm doing these, because I can actually push that fin a little bit lower. And this one down a little bit lower too. Maybe this one, but I don't have to worry because I won't be doing the texture past there anyway, but I'm just going to make it a little bit. And then the mouth, actually I'll do the mouth length afterwards. And then you can do anything you want. If you're making a happy, you know, a fish that's just get rid of any water on the surface, I'm going to texture it, and I don't want the texture thing to stick to it. So I'm getting rid of anything that might stick into the texture roller, and you can use anything you want. For a very quick one, I could simply take this roller I bought commercially. And we have a fish with rose petals all over it. And that's why I was not going to do the mouth. Okay, so just kind of coming around. I would prefer to work on individual boards at this point so I can rotate the fish a little easier. And I have some large Lazy Susans. This one here I made myself from 2 bats. They sell these ball bearing things at the hardware store. So then you can rotate it very easily as you're working. Just remember to move your water pot. Alright, so we've got the face, and then this little fin here. Remember, soft clay does not have to be scored and scratched. You can simply wet something and place it down. This was supposed to be down there, so but I've got this now that I can use. It's really good to have one of these roller things as well. I think they're used in pastry. Oh no, these are for putting wallpaper seams down. I'll save this little piece for the next one. And then this is also useful to thin out the clay that you're going to be attaching. So we'll just wet that a little bit, hardly needs it, but and you can use the roller to kind of make you those little fin shapes. Squish it so that they overlap a little bit, so I'm simply pushing one of those over the other one, and I can do the same with that one, so it'll give it a bit more 3 dimensions there. And then we can press it down. Just with your finger. And then if you want to, you can actually find some textury things that look nice. I usually have there's one of my favorites. Oh, there it is. I like this shape a lot because it just adds to the fin look. Just giving some 3 dimensions to my fins. Now I've left the paper edge there, so I'm going to have to put a piece of paper under there. Before it sticks, stick something under it, because that would make it crack. And this guy has a couple more lines to be put in.
Jackie's in the upstairs part of the building, and she says it's much rockier upstairs. The foundation that holds us above the water is underneath me here. That's why you get a little bit more wave sounds down here. But the storm is now going down in the tide, so we're past the nasty part for this one, but it's still going to be here for high tide tonight. But the wind will be blowing from a different direction at that point, so we think it won't be as bad. So we got through another storm, and that's actually off the paper there too. So put that underneath there. Pull the whole thing up a touch, so it's still on the board there, so that fin doesn't go below the. Pull it up a little bit so we can have a bit of a feeling of 3 dimensions there. Smooth it out, and not forgetting the eye. And we're going to call this fish Flora or Rose. There's a lot of debris floating by at the moment, some tree damage, I guess, somewhere. A lot of people rely on putting all the organic stuff down on the beach, not on the beach, well, on the bank just before the beach, because it helps protect beach erosion. So you'll throw your garden refuse and stuff down there when you're weeding the garden or cutting back bushes, but of course that will just be torn up by any big storm like this. Protect for maybe a little while, but then it'll just get torn up. I did that with hay bales for a long time, just piling 100 hay bales down on the shore by me, and in one storm they all washed away. I'm going to lift this fin. It's got a bit of 3 dimensions there. And that's one fish, I think. That's done. Fish called Rose. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
So my goal with these fish is the man wants to spend about $45 on a fish, and he wants several. So I'm going to try and make 2 or even 3 in an hour, and all that. So you know, we're talking $90 to $135 an hour. But when you put in the time I've got to spend glazing these, and actually firing them, and you know, it's raw materials and stuff, we're going to get $135 an hour will come down to probably about, you know, $45 an hour. Then you got to pay taxes on your income. Life hits hard, doesn't it? So you know, hopefully you're left with a salary that you can make a living on, and all that. But my goal is, you know, after taxes, you know, to earn somewhere in the region of $35 an hour, maybe $40 an hour. But then that's mine. That's all the expenses and taxes have come off at that point. Let's see if that works out. Long time, 5 past 5 now. The storm is still howling outside, and we've had some really big gusts. But the boat is still there, still going. What's really cute is the pigeons. They're actually clinging to the decking and stuff out there, and I threw food out for them because they are really, you know, they're having a tough time today. But one of them came right up onto the window ledge and just pecked the window. What could I do? You know, I had no choice at that point. But anyway, I've got about 23 made at the moment, so I've been working on them since about 10:30, and I've got 4, 8, 9 to go. So I probably won't get out of here till 6:30, but we'll see anyway. But it's been a, you know, interesting afternoon. This is low tide at Crescent Beach, and we thought we could walk down here and look at the waves. Well, the waves are actually spreading all the way up to the top of the beach where the rocks are, where there's normally at low tide 100 meters of sand. So this was unexpected, and the spray and the wind was just too hard to actually do any walking. So it was pretty tough down here. You can see the waves in the distance, but well, it's 36 hours since we lost power, and I've got my generator running, as you can hear it. And I spent the morning hanging the fish that came out of the kiln, and that will appear in the couple of weeks from now, I guess. And here's the whales. Look fun. So we got everything back up on the wall. The fish stayed up on the wall, the ones were already there during the hurricane, so they're fastened really secure. And there's not that much damage, so just sad for some of the flowers and the plants. I got all the planters inside, so they are still in decent shape. They've got flowers and everything, but fortunately, the morning glories here held, although the leaves have got wind damage, but they're still up, whereas, and all the straw flowers, which are just starting, they're still going. But we have a severe, nasty damage to this honeysuckle. I'll put the picture now, what it used to look like. And then over here, it completely got killed. That's just wind damage. There wasn't much rain with this hurricane. But yeah, these things also got wind damage, completely blown over, and all that, totally destroyed. They'll come back next year. The bulbs are still under the ground. They're dahlias and gladioli. and still got to tear a lot of stuff out of here. This the damage, but we survived.